Welcome to the July 11th, 2018 meeting of the Conservation Commission. I'd like to stand and salute the flag, please. Thank you. Roll call. Member Ann Raponi.
Here.
Joe Lavalley.
Here.
Heather Legier.
Here.
Toby Cassidy.
Here.
And Deborah Santiano McHatton.
Here.
The quorum is present. Approval for the minutes from June 6, 2018. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Ann makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joe Lavalley. First item on the agenda is public hearing, DEP file 0610719, notice of intent, MWRA, GE Drawbridge, removal of existing water line to the bridge. Anybody here, proponents here for that? Please come up to the podium. Can I just first have a motion to open up the public hearing? Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion for that.
Joe makes a motion. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Toby Cat. Can you guys shut off your microphones if we're not using them, please? Toby, shut off your microphone. Shut it off because it's on right now.
Take it off.
Name and address for the record, please, sir. Press the button.
You hear me now? Yes.
Yep.
Thank you. My name is Mark Morin. I represent Hazen and Sawyer consulting firm. I'm here on behalf of the MWRA. We are located at 24 Federal Street in downtown Boston, and we're here to present the project for the removal of an existing water main that's located on the General Edwards Bridge. The water main is approximately 1,100 feet long. It's been on the bridge since the 1930s, and it is currently not in use. Over time, the water main has deteriorated. There are some of the joints that have seized up, and in working with the authority and Mass Highway, it's been decided that the best thing to do at this point is to remove that water main from the bridge. We're still in the final design process, and right now we're talking to you about the environmental impacts associated with it. What I'd like to do now, unless you have any questions on the technical part of the removal, I'm going to turn it over to Colin Duncan. He works for our sub-consultant, TRC. They are our environmental permitting specialist, and Colin's going to review some of the aspects of the project. Any environmental type questions, Colin will be able to field. If anybody has any questions with respect to construction operations and that sort of thing, I would be happy to answer for you.
I actually have one question as far as construction part. I know when it's going to be coming out, is there ever a plans to replace it at any time, or is it coming out permanently?
At this point, it's coming out. What the future plans are, I'm not sure. The authority is looking into various alternatives. There is a study that is on the books that show alternatives for replacing that main at other locations, but at this point, it's not in use, it's not needed, and I think everybody agrees that it really should come off of the bridge just because of its age and its condition.
Okay, thank you.
Colin?
Good evening. My name is Colin Duncan. I'm with TRC. We prepared the notice of intent filing, and as Mark mentioned, we are in the process of the final stages of development, and which would include the actual contractor design elements of the work once a contractor is selected. We have laid out what we believe are the most sort of worst case scenarios, if you will, in terms of how the approach to remove the bridge, the pipe segments from the bridge, so that the conditions can be developed that would be inclusive of the approach that would be sort of, like I said, worst case. So at this point, we have developed a plan that would show use of barges to come in the river and to be placed during high tide or tide level that would support them along the length of the bridge and wherever they are working at any one time in any one segment to remove the pipe, having already cut the pipe from what they would be a truck reaching over from the top of the
Snooper
bridge.
truck,
Yeah,
right?
the snooper truck. And they would be cutting, containing, wrapping up the segments in place, and then coming ultimately with either a crane on a barge or at the very driest segments on the outer part of the river bed, perhaps putting down temporary swamp mats to get a crane on the sand to lower the segments. Obviously, this is a very tidal part of the river, and it goes up and down, and so there'd probably be segments where it would be up on spud barges to avoid having to move and to get the work done in that particular segment. But it won't be long in any one particular segment to remove and take away the pipe sections. So we outlined the resource areas in the notice of intent package that are affected, mostly the intertidal areas, land under the ocean, being the river itself, from the mean high water down to the town line in the middle of the river, and then the areas up to the coastal bank, riverfront area, and the bank to the coastal bank, going out into the developed part of the adjacent to the river. So we feel there'd be very minor impacts associated with the work, basically lying either swamp mats or the barge on the riverbed during intertidal periods. And we have gone through the Army Corps permit process, both the Section 404 and Section 10, as well as Section 408, which is a newer element to the Army Corps review involving the navigable waterway. And we have those in place in their conditions, and have been in discussions with Natural Heritage about rare species. They're actually using the bridge, and will avoid any impacts to them based on the time of year that we are limited to do the work, which would be November 1st through February 15th, I believe. November 15th through February 15th, at which time the fishing restriction, the time of year restriction, fisheries comes into play. So that's about it for
Okay.
impacts, and I can answer any questions, or Mark.
Any commissioners have any questions?
Yes, so you and me be starting this project until November, is that correct?
Correct.
And in the course of removing this pipe, after the removal, is there any spray painting, sandblasting, or anything of that nature?
Yeah, so we are going to be removing the pipe, and that's going to require us to cap off each end. The current pipe is supported by about 104 different supports spaced at 10 foot on centers. The bottom rails of those supports are going to be taken out. Any place that we have impacted the existing steel will be ground down and then repainted so that we prevent any further rusting or that sort of thing. There are a couple of sections of pipe right at the drawbridge area that kind of basically hang in midair. They go out from the towers and then down.
Yep.
We're going to be taking those portions of the pipe hanging in midair. Those are coming out. We'll be putting plates over the ends of those. Anything that we damage on the bridge in terms of paint coating systems, the contractor will be required to repair and put back into condition so that we don't have any more corrosion and that sort of thing.
Well, the reason why I'm asking is when the last work was done on that bridge, there was repair work done underneath. They seemed to put some kind of buttresses or girders underneath for support. I don't know if you're familiar with that work, but when they did do that work, they did put up netting and top so that nothing fell in the water, and I was wondering if that would be necessary for this project also.
Yes, as a matter of fact, we are calling for debris netting to be placed over the entire length of the project for that exact reason. There are probably about 3 different ways that the contractor may approach this, although they always seem to come up with something other than what I've thought about. However, Colin already talked about the snooper truck. At this point, we can do some of the work from a snooper truck, but we do have to maintain traffic, so that's going to limit the size of a snooper truck. So we can do some of the smaller work. We're going to be doing some of the work from a barge, floating from the water. The contractor will also have the option to install staging and scaffolding suspended from the bridge itself, subject to the approval of Mass DOT and appropriate structural engineering calculations done. If they do that, they will be required to restore the bridge at any place where their scaffolding has impacted any of the structural steel. So all of those items are included in the project. Some of them are contractors' options, but the debris netting is a permanent component of the project.
One other question. I'm sure you realize that's a real main thoroughfare, that bridge, particularly in the morning and later on in the afternoon. Would the work be done in a manner so that the south-facing wouldn't be impacted in the morning when most of the cars are coming from the Lynn area and going into Boston, and then the same thing in the afternoon when the traffic is going in the other direction?
The basic answer for that is it's not set up to do it that way. The DOT is allowing us to shut down one lane and one lane only as we do the work. They haven't imposed any time restrictions for commuter times on the project. If they did, that's something that we could still incorporate.
It's usually, Joe, just from history, because I do a lot of work on MassDOT, rush hour, they can't open up a lane they can't take a lane until 9 o'clock if it's a rush hour lane. So I would assume that southbound, that Mass DOT is going to restrict them to start till 9 o'clock. And southbound they'll have to, and northbound they'll have to be off the road by 3:30. That's my history, my experience, but we'll have to see what happens when we cross that bridge with MassDOT, see what they plan on.
And we have been working, that was a good one, since I just got that. We have been working with them since day one. They've been great. They are very supportive of the project.
Yep.
So if that's something that they want us to do, then we'll incorporate it right for the project. That's not an issue.
Perfect. Any other questions by any commissioners?
Yes, I do
Ian?
have a question.
Ian Raponi?
Yes, Colin, your name? Oh, Colin.
He's Colin.
This gentleman?
Mark.
Mark. Hi, Mark. I'm reading here, I just want to go back a couple of bus stops here. I see where there's a statement made in the letter here that the MWRA will be seeking an order of conditions from the city of Lynn under a separate filing. How connected is the city of Lynn to that bridge? We know they're both connected. Part of it's in Lynn, part of it's in Revere.
Mm-hmm.
How important is the city of Lynn with this project?
The city Revere is here, is on half, and the town line, the city line is the river, the middle of the river.
Yeah.
So half of the bridge is located within Lynn.
Is there a water line on the Lynn side of that bridge?
Yeah.
There is, okay.
The water line runs all the way across.
Actually, my question is, you make a statement here that you are going to get an order of conditions from the city of Lynn. Should follow what work you've already started here with the city of Revere? Why are we following through with Lynn after the fact? That's my question.
It's parallel. We have a meeting, we've submitted an NOI with them, and we meet with them next week.
It's
I'm
two
sorry.
separate.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Go ahead. Both of these are happening in parallel. We submitted an NOI to the city of Lynn as well. It just happens their meeting is scheduled next Tuesday, and
Oh,
we're
okay.
going to be attending that.
Okay.
Yeah, just the way the meeting schedule
Just
fell.
curious about how the city of Lynn is involved. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from any commissioners? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to issue an order of
A
conditions.
motion by Joe Lovato. I have a second?
I'll second it.
By Toby Cassidy. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're gonna sign 2 copies tonight, so I'm gonna give you a copy tonight. You're gonna leave with a copy here tonight if you just hang tight a few minutes.
Very good,
I'll
thank
give
you.
a copy, all right? Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate the time.
Next item on the agenda is Mass DEP file 0610718 National Grid, 1064, 1048 North Shore Road. Install underground gas lines in the area. It's a continuation of work that was done along another section of North Shore Road. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Do I have a motion to open a public hearing?
Now,
Heather,
Yep.
do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second for Heather. Perfect, thank you. Name and address for the record, please?
My name is Lindsay, and I'm here on behalf of Boston Gas Company for 1064 to 1048 North Shore Road for the proposed gas main reinforcement.
Okay. This is a continuation. You guys did another section of North Shore Road at one time, right?
We didn't, another company did.
Okay.
However, in their order of conditions, it states that any work that is also like done in the same area or like off their gas line has to file a notice of
Have to file a
intent.
new notice of intent, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any questions?
I do have a statement prepared.
Go ahead, go ahead.
So this project consists of extending the existing plastic gas main 235 feet with 4-inch plastic gas main from 1064 to 1048 North Shore Road and installing a service connection consisting of 5 feet of 2-inch plastic gas main to 1048. And the proposed work is within Barrier Beach, the buffer zone to Salt Marsh, and within borderland subject to flooding. The proposed work is exempt under 2 WPA regulations, the installation of underground utilities within a existing paved or unpaved roadway, and also it's a limited project. And it's all done within developed areas, just already paved road. And to guard against sedimentation runoff, we are going to be installing silt sacks in all catch basins. So given the scope of work, Conoco respectfully requests that the Revere Conservation Commission issue a order of conditions and allow the project to proceed. Questions?
Any questions by the commissioners on this? No? What's the will of the commission? Do I have a, is there any, actually, is there any opponents here for this project? No? What's the will of the commission? Do I have a motion?
it's a motion.
Dan makes a motion to approve and issue order of conditions. Do I have a second?
I'll make a motion.
Heather, yeah. Do I have a motion to close out the public hearing?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Heather, seconded by Ann Raponi. If you hang tight a few minutes, we're gonna sign 2 of them. I'm gonna give you one tonight to take with you.
Thank you.
Third item on the agenda is a public meeting, Mass DEP file 0610676, 67 Standish Road, certificate of compliance, work completed according to order of condition previously issued. I have any proponents up here for that, please?
Good evening, Paul Finocchio with PJ Associates, 4 Highland Ave, Wakefield, Mass. I'm here on behalf of Carmen and Paul Martinetti, who are the owners of the property located at 57 Standish Road. This is the second lot, the middle lot in a 3-lot subdivision that was completed just recently, and they were, before you were requesting a certificate of compliance. All work has been substantially done and has been in conformance with the approved plans, which is grading, the foundation openings, and the height of the building.
Okay.
I submitted to you a copy of the as-built site plan as well as the elevation certificate.
Now, the whole, I know Andy at one point issued a partial order of conditions, so now the whole project is done, correct?
There's 2 other, the third house is up. We haven't filed a request for that one yet.
Okay.
It's still doing work, but
So this one's
the
57.
the house to the left was a partial certificate of compliance issue for the project. So we're asking for the second one to be issued as well.
Okay, okay. So I took a ride by there Saturday, and everything is what it is. The pictures are included in the file, and It's done, completed, like according to the order of conditions. So do I have a motion to approve the certificate of compliance, rather?
I'll make a motion.
By Heather. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joe Laval. All set. If you hang tight a few minutes, I'll give you the certificate of compliance.
appreciate it.
tonight.
Thank you.
All right? Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Anybody second? Second by Heather. Meeting is adjourned, 7:20.
That's it? That's it. I have company of my host watching the game, right? I didn't find out what this means, I guess.